Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Lisa Renee TV. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button today before you leave. And make sure to thumbs up the video if you do like the content. And make sure to share on all your social media networks that you happen to be on currently. So, welcome back, guys. I'm so happy to see you, to be front of the camera again. Hey. So I hope everybody is doing splendidly well. I'm doing good because see, I've been off for the past couple days, like since Saturday. So yeah, I had like a trio, 3-day weekend. So yeah, you know how I'm doing. I'm doing real good. All right. Anywho, let's get into the video today. So today's topic, I want to touch on positive, negative body image, falling in love with the exterior you. So, I kind of touched on this topic. This is like part two to like self acceptance. I know I did a video not too long ago about like self acceptance, loving you. So this is like be a part two, which is falling in love with how you look. And I've kind of done videos in the past on this topic. Like I've talked on it a little bit here and there, bits and pieces about how I felt about different things or things I went through or things I know all of us as women are struggling with. Could be some guys struggling with things too, but I know a lot of women struggle with it, probably more so. So yeah. Okay, so yes, let's get right into it. Okay, so this is the verse I want to start off with. This is Galatians 1:10. For am I now seeking the favor of men or of God? Or am I striving to please men? If I were still trying to please men, I would not be a bondservant of Christ. I just love that verse. I could eat that verse up like candy. I love that verse right there because I mean it just gets right to the point, and that's kind of how Galatians is. Just goes right in and just tells you what it is, tells you like it is. It doesn't play around with you. But it's literally asking you like, I mean, it's like, okay, so who am I seeking the favor of? Men or God? Like, what's more important to me? In this life. So a lot of us have to stop and ask ourselves that question, is it more important to me what God thinks of me or what humans think of me? That's a big thing, because that determines how you live out your life. Is who thinks of you is more important. Who are you following? Are you following God, or are you following men? Are you more concerned with what they're saying, what your coworkers saying, your sister, your brother, your mama, and them, friends, enemies? Are you more concerned with these people who are, let me remind you, also human like you? And what we say about humans, they're as fickle as breath. What good is that? Did I tell you that in the last video? Did I not tell you that? Come on now, are you more concerned with what they're saying about you, or are you more concerned with how God feels about you, what He is saying to you, what He's saying about you, So whose viewpoint is more important to you? So men will, this is a word I made up, cerebromatize you. You'll feel like this kind of freakish sex vixen thing on display for their lust and entertainment, and never seek them. Their looks, their stares, their catcalls, their comments. Attention is validation for your beauty. Allow God to validate you. So that goes in line with what that verse is saying too. Whose view is more important to you. And that can tie into your physicality and how you see yourself. The whole Sarah Barman, everybody knows who Sarah Barman is now. She was a lady from she was from Africa, and she had a bigger buttocks and like larger genitalia, and she was kind of brought over here by a Frenchman and put on display for white people's amusement. And it was just horrible, how they just kind of took advantage of her and dehumanized her. So everybody knows the story of Sarah Barman, who I've mentioned before in past videos. Yeah, and I have a video where I talk about curvier women, since I am a curvier woman myself, and I talk about like how curvier women who I just feel like we have this struggle with being loved or being, seen as like people to take seriously for dating, relationships, marriage, and the like. And I just feel like men automatically, I think men sexualize all women, no matter whether you curvy, skinny, in between, it doesn't really matter. But I just feel like men look at, women who are curvy or look like the Sarah Bartman type or whatever, and they just Sarah Bartmanize you. Like they just put you on this pedestal almost to be kind of gawked at and looked at as like, ooh, look at her, look what she got, oh, look at that, look at her, look at her breasts, look at whatever, but they, yet and still your fingers remain bare because it's like they can't see themselves putting a ring on it for you. Like, when it comes to somebody who's like extremely smaller than you, like the possibilities go up for them, like as far as them getting a ring. And I did a video on that. I would love for you guys to go back and watch it if you haven't already watched it. Yeah, it's just I don't know, it's just ridiculous. But I just always kind of felt that way. And I think it was like part of an insecurity on my part, like with just not liking how I looked and not liking my curves. And I went through a lot of body image issues. I was bigger at one point. I lost weight. And so I didn't like how I looked before. And then when I finally lost weight, you lose weight and now you look different. Now your curves are all out and everything. And it's like you like the attention, but then you kind of don't because it gets overwhelming. And so now you have to figure out, how to deal with this new you. And so I think I went through that, and my ex, I was talking about in the last video, wasn't very, supportive of that, and yeah, it just was a rough time for me. So here lately, within like over this past weekend, I think even before that, like the week before, I don't know, I feel like I was coming home one night on the bus, and I just like had this, I'm sitting there, and I just had I heard this loud voice in my head, and it just was so crazy because it's almost like the voice was angry or something at God. Like, it was just screaming out like, you know, I'm too curvy. Like, I'm way too curvy to be, a wife. And now I'm a sex object. And it was basically asking God, like, why did you make me this way? And it was really crazy. And it definitely wasn't my voice, because every thought that comes to you, you got to cast it down because every thought is not your voice. And I was like, I never said that. I have my issues sometimes, but I'm like, that's not me, And so I just knew, like, I could recognize when there's kind of an attack, from the enemy. I know I told you all that happens sometimes to you. And I'm like, what's going on here? Why am I being attacked? And sometimes Satan will attack you in areas where you are weak. So if you have a body issue, image problem, that may be an area where he can go in on you, just get you at that weak moment. And so that's been my issue for the past few days, where I was kind of like going back and forth. And I was talking to my mom about it, and she was like, no, you're perfect, you're beautiful. And I just love my mom. Like, just thank God for her. Like, she's so awesome. She knows exactly what to say when I'm feeling, kind of down. So, yeah, that's been my struggle, for the past couple of days. But I'll notice it happens. It happens to so many women where it's like you end up, these men are kind of, it's almost like you leaning on men to give you self-esteem, and that's not their job to give you self-esteem, to validate you, when really you should be looking towards your father, to validate you. He validates you. Before he formed you in your mother's womb, he already knew you. So why are you going to this strange man looking for him to say that you're pretty or beautiful? And that's what I did when I was younger. I did a lot of that, and I noticed like the men I dealt with over the past few years, luckily, thank God, I'm out of that now. I'm not dealing with anybody now. But the men I dealt with, they were like these atypical kind of guys. And you may be doing the same thing now, or have done it in the past, where it's like they're only interested in this. Like, it's always your physical, that they're interested in, and it's just really crazy, and it's a pattern that you can't break out of. Like, I would say my most current situation where I've dealt with that is obviously the Ishmael I told you all about, the douchebags I met a couple weeks ago, where he was all into the physical, and it was just really crazy, So I know, a lot of y'all had commented to me and wrote me and everything on Facebook, for those of you who were friends with me on Facebook, and you told me about that, about your issues that you were dealing with, and y'all going through the same thing, I'm like, what is this? It's like a virus is going around, These men are crazy, They drinking crazy for breakfast, y'all. I mean, I don't know what's up, I'm getting kind of scared. We trying to get married, and everybody, we want to be a wife, and I don't know. I mean, but you can't, depend on them for that, and I guess for me, even with that experience a few weeks ago, it was kind of discouraging because I was like, Lord, I've been doing everything right as far as, trying to keep my self-esteem up and trying to, just, allow you to pour into me and being this Christian woman and doing what I have to do and working towards my purpose and living a purposeful life. And then all of a sudden, boom, doo doo, you meet douchebags. But I think, meeting those kind of guys or coming across those kind of guys are kind of inevitable for all of us. Doesn't matter. It's not a reflection on you. I think it just happens, so yeah. But I don't know. It's crazy. You just kind of always. I think that's how the attack happened too. Because what it did was it took me back to a place of like, see. All they want is that, see, see, you ain't gonna get no husband, see, and it's like the devil just trying to, play with your mind, So, 1 Samuel 37, the Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the land of the Philistine. Saul said to David, go, and the Lord be with you. So David showed amazing faith in that scene. That was the David and Goliath story, actually. So y'all probably wonder, what does that have to do with, this is kind of a strange story. But to me, it came up, and I just think the Holy Spirit I know the Holy Spirit just put it there, because I would have never, connected that. So, what, the Lord was speaking to me on that topic regarding the David and Goliath story and dating and, men and women and self-image was sometimes we can be like David and Goliath with each other as far as men and women, because we're always like, like David slayed Goliath, right? He killed him with the slingshot and the rock. And, men and women can be like David and Goliath. It's a dichotomy, so to speak. So we're always against each other, basically. It's always kind of a fight. Who's going to kill who, who's going to slay who, and try to, even like, to get what you like. It's always a competition, nowadays. It's hard for us to bond and mate and come together and be, Adam and Eve, Boaz and Ruth, because if you got so many guys thinking, how long is it till I sleep with her, or, you looking at him like, okay, how he look, how much money he got in the bank, you coming from a more of a kind of a competitive enemy kind of standpoint, So if you're doing that, it's like you're gonna end up kind of slaying each other, Who's gonna slay who, So you're David and Goliath. You coming at each other as, and ignore the phone. You come at each other as competitors instead of, kind of teammates, So yeah, and marriage is about teamwork, coming together, being on the same page, and yeah. Clearly, David and Goliath are not on the same page. They weren't, and neither are we a lot of times, sadly. So yeah. Another way that I was comparing the David and Goliath story, as far as like self-image is concerned, it's like you kind of feel, as a woman, you feel slain, just in your spirit and your just how you feel about yourself. Like your self-image is it gets torn up. You don't have a positive outlook about how you see yourself, because you just get so beaten down in general, either, somebody's telling you that you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're not good enough, you're ugly, whatever it is, and you start believing these things, and that slays you, like that becomes your, that's like, that is kind of a Goliath for you, like, that can easily slay you, that can kill you, and it kills your spirit man off. It does, and it starts to eat away at you. And these things affect you a lot. Even it happened when you was a little girl. You notice, even when you become a grown woman, just things you do in your life, how you react to certain people and certain situations. You're like, oh my God, so this happened when I was 12, or this happened when I was 16, but now that I'm 32 or 28 or 27, 25, I mean, the way I'm reacting to a certain person, a certain situation, or the reason why I do this the way I do it is because of somebody said this to me when I was like 12 or 16 or whatever. You notice the way we do stuff is greatly affected by our past, and how we see ourselves. So this actually matters, how we see how we see ourselves. It's very much important. So it's important not to get wrapped up in other people's definition of who you are, because they don't know themselves a lot of times. They're trying to define you. You know, you gotta be like X. I'm undefined. You know, I'm like, your equation is wrong. You still can't find me. You know, you will never define me. You know, like these people try to tell you who you are. And I went through that in high school with, you know, people constantly telling you, oh, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, you know, and they keep trying to attach all these little, you know, names to you and categories they want to put you in. Don't allow yourself to be categorized. You know, allow God to let you know who you are in Him, and that's the only thing that really sets you free. It just really, you know, being a positive person, you know, in general, and find out once you find who you are in Christ, I mean, it just sets you free, you know, because you start living this life of purpose, and you find out just, you know, what it is that you were put on earth to do, and it just frees you from all of that BS, you know, so you're not that people try to dump on you, and so you're not feeling, you know, you're not feeling a slave to, you know, what these people are talking about. You're not feeling like you have to be chained down and bogged down, you know. So yeah, you're not getting slain and knocked out, and you know, no, you know, they're no longer your, you know, kryptonite. So if somebody says something negative to you, you know, in the present, you notice it don't wipe you out like it used to. You know, they don't have any power over you anymore. I want to quickly read this couple of verses to you here, and then I will be out. But you know, I always like to just encourage you guys here. I thought I had it pulled up. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like it's actually one of my favorite verses, and I knew that it will do it for you too. And I think I may have like mentioned it before. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have. It's Psalms 139:13 through 16. Okay. I'm sure we may have heard it before, but it's always nice to be reminded of it. Okay, so for you created my inmost being, you knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you. When I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. So that right there is just absolutely beautiful. It just lets you know how much God cares about you and how much He loves you and how much work and stock and effort He put into making you, just forming you, like unformed body. You know, like your eyes saw my unformed body. You know, He knew how you were going to look, how you were going to be. So all of this, however you look, I don't care where you plump, where you skinny, you know, curvy, booty, no booty, whatever. It's not an accident. Okay, so stop thinking. That's the first thing you gotta stop doing. Stop thinking this is an accident. How you look is not an accident. God doesn't make mistakes. He didn't say, oh, oh, oh. You know, no, I gave her less booty than her. Oh, doggone, I made a mistake. Ooh, I gave her way too much booty. Oh, man. She will have a hard life. Oh, man, she will never get married. Now, you know, guys, smarter than that. He would never make no mistakes. He know exactly what he doing, okay? You know, you and your booty will be fine. You and your not a whole lot of booty gonna be fine. You know, you and your petiteness is gonna be good. You and your tallness is great. You're fantastic. You know, you're beautiful. He made you that way. You look the way you look for a reason. You know, it was meant for you to look that way. And your husband's gonna look at you and say, wow, what a work of art. You know, so he's gonna feel the same way about you. He's gonna think you're absolutely beautiful. You know, so yeah, he's gonna see, and your husband will see something more than just, you know, booty and, you know, she's tall, she's short, whatever, breast and whatever. He'll see the God in you. So that's the most important thing if he is from God. Yeah, he gotta be from God. It's the only stipulation on that one. But anyway, all right. Well, I'll be back later on this week, probably this weekend, most likely this weekend or like early next week. But I just want to drop in here and talk to you guys for a minute, just have a little conversation and just a little girl chat, how I was feeling, and you know, hopefully I, you know, helped you guys feel a little better too. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and you have a blessed evening. Bye.